This week on A Twink and a Redhead. I'm not unemployed, I'm self-employed.
Yeah, fun employed.
They have like hands.
I mean, he does have
Opposable thumbs.
opposable thumbs.
Imagine the things he could do to your Wait.
We tell you the story you've all been waiting for. We didn't speak for over a year.
Frank started to he was sort of weaponizing his mental health against me. How could I have known you since 6th grade and you side with my crazy ex?
I was just like really not trying to take sides because I still didn't know the extent of the craziness. And you said something that I'll never forget.
And an announcement for the good of the group that will leave you thinking, that's what the high schoolers are doing these days?
The girlfriend's NSFW Twitter was released.
All of this and more on A Twink and a Redhead, the podcast.
Now DJ, hit that track.
A twink,
And a redhead,
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 a twink.
and a redhead.
It's been a long time coming. It's been a long time fucking. And here we are.
Well.
Bet you thought you'd seen The Last of Us.
And
Surprise.
here we are.
Welcome back to A
To
Twink
and
and
a
a Redhead. A lot has changed since we've been gone, including the laugh. The laugh is basically new.
The laugh is new. We have
Since
so
our
many gorgeous catchphrases.
So many gorgeous catchphrases. Right now, for me, it's just my luck, right?
That one, but we've been saying that for
That
some
for
time
a while,
now.
but I don't know if the podcast okay, so for those of you who don't know, we filmed to like 20 episodes of a podcast starting last summer, and then if you listen to the podcast, you see how more and more depressed we got. Because we were both working full-time jobs. We were, doing our TikTok thing. And then we were like, we just did not properly plan that podcast or the schedule of it. So like we would film and then in a day or two it'd be out. Hello, I can't do that.
Hello? You couldn't do that.
No, but if you guys want to go back and listen, it's a good podcast. But we are back and we've planned it a bit better, I think. And it's going to be good.
A lot of people are talking about it. A lot of people are saying it's the new Smart List, the new
I don't know what Smart List is.
Oh, it's like a really big podcast with Jason Bateman.
It's the new Good Children. A lot of people are saying
Fuck Good Children. They know what they did.
They're trying to literally be us. They stole our shtick. We're like nostalgic kids growing up like best friends in school, blah, blah, blah. Like everything about their
And they're
shtick.
older than us,
Which
but
is
they stole it.
They're older than us. They've been doing the podcast longer than us, but they still
stole our shtick.
Joe even has a Hunger Games shtick, which I also have a Hunger Games shtick, like growing up.
Mm-hmm.
There's just too many. Andrew bakes.
Andrew bakes. I bake. Hello. Only one girl in this town can make a lemon poppy seed muffin. Anyway.
For those of you who don't know us, though, my name's Grant.
I mean, I'm Ash. Hopefully you know that by now. It's kind of like a small barrier to entry.
But basically, you may have seen videos of us being kind of cuckoo online, Disney swingers video, us pretending to be a straight couple, which, surprise, it's an act, or?
Is it? That's something that we're continuing to explore.
Yeah. You may have even heard one of our smash hits or songs about getting fucked in a TJ Maxx, Panera Bread, all inspired by true events. But basically, we've known each other since 6th grade, unfortunately. But let's continue to give you guys some updates on our lives. For the past 2 years, I'm coming clean. And we can talk about it now because I just quit my full-time job. But for the past 2 years, I was a Disney cast member. I was an employee of the Walt Disney Company. Surprise, right?
So crazy.
But like in our last season, I would say I was a friend. I was a friend of the mouse.
A friend
of the company or whatever.
Honestly, people could have just found you on LinkedIn.
No, and I'm sure you guys did. But yeah, I was working at ABC News and loved them.
Except for that one day.
What day?
At The View.
Oh, oh,
But we could talk about that.
oh,
some
yeah.
other
We have an
time.
episode in the future where we will need to talk about something
Something that happens
happened
in the hallowed halls of
of
ABC
ABC
News,
News.
where I got in a fight with one of Grant's coworkers.
And no, this lady's evil, respectfully.
She was really mean to me for literally no reason other than breathing the same air as her. And I let her know that I was not pleased.
Yeah, she did.
So you're unemployed. Well, you're fun employed, I would say.
I'm not unemployed, I'm self-employed.
Yeah, fun employed.
I give it about 6 months, and then if nothing happens, then I'm going back.
To the news. But
I'm going back to ABC
we're-
News.
ABC, or were you going to go to Fox, did you say?
Ashley, I don't want to talk about that.
Okay. No, I didn't know if you were going to go to...
For those of you who don't know, I interned with Tucker Carlson, and it was during the time he got fired.
Yeah.
And,
And a lot of people say you were the reason for it.
I don't want to fuel flames to the rumors, but yes, I was spending a lot of time in Tucker's office.
We don't need to get, all political here, but did you see the clip of Tucker in Russia? And he was amazed by the shopping carts where you put a coin in and then you get the coin at the end so people don't steal shopping carts. They have them all over LA and stuff. And
Isn't that Amley? You know an Amley?
No, I don't. But Tucker was Grant gagged, he was rock hard in this grocery store in Russia looking at these shopping carts. He was like, "Do you see how advanced they are here?" It was crazy.
Girl, they have that everywhere.
I know, he just loves Russia.
Huh.
Okay.
Okay.
Move.
Move there.
Okay, move.
Move there.
Bye, Tucker.
Go become a citizen of Russia and fight in their army as well. Wait, what?
Well, wait, maybe don't do that.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, oh, I wanted to update you guys too that there's been some developments with Poppy. I think we can confirm we have a working relationship.
We have a working relationship with Poppy. For those that maybe are just tuning in for the first time or don't remember from last season, Grant and I would drink Poppy cocktails on most episodes, just like we're doing right now with Wild Berry and is this Svedka or gin? I literally can't even taste the alcohol.
Unfortunately, Ashley, it's Svedka.
Okay, so we are drinking Svedka, plain, old-fashioned, if you will, Svedka, and Wild Berry Poppy. And last season, we were upset because I think we're one of the most vocal creators on the internet about
Talking
our love
about
for
damn
Poppy. We love Poppy. We live, breathe, die for Poppy.
Are we their target demographic? I mean, I would
Maybe
say so,
not,
but
our passion's there.
the passion is there, and we're real customers. We're real fans.
I buy a Poppy once a day on my way to work. I grab a Poppy from the local bodega and head to work. So we love Poppy, and now they finally, started a working relationship with us. We did have to threaten them, which is fine.
We did threaten them because we'll fully post in our story and say, hello, this is the best drink I've ever had. The working relationship, though, it only is us receiving Poppy. So we have not done any brand deals with them. We have tried. Trust me, we've tried for almost a year now.
We want to write an original song.
We would love to write an original song for Poppy. We would
pop,
pop my pussy, pop, my puppy, pop.
It writes itself.
It does. And we don't get the special PR packages.
No,
either.
okay.
I think there's tiers.
A lot of these, I would say the same demographic of gals that were on the Bora Bora tart trip. Poppy.
That's who Poppy eats up.
Poppy sends them these gorgeous plush robes.
Yeah.
They are stunning. Stunning. None for us.
None for us. Our
Poppy just, you know what? I'm not even going to complain. I love it. Keep sending it.
Please, we're out currently.
We are out.
Our favorites are Doc Pop, root beer, cola,
we love the
watermelon.
soda flavors.
Yeah, please just continue. Please send us the soda flavors, please. We're currently out. Thank you. So also, I have an iPad.
Grant's made a purchase.
It has one use. I got it because I didn't want to buy a printer because I wanted to have notes because last season I was always struggling to
Great.
Great.
Our set's falling apart.
I just hit one of our new photo boards, which is also...
For those listening on audio, head over to our YouTube and you will see our gorgeous
new set.
We are still on the same Wayfair couch that is as comfortable as sitting on concrete. And then
Literally.
we have a gallery wall. We were supposed to have different sizes of photos and frames, but they are all uniform right now. And I guess it's on brand because it's kind of reminiscent of our freshman year college dorms when you would just hang 4x6 photos on your wall.
It's also like on brand because it's like something we thought we slayed, but clearly
Grant and I are not interior designers at all.
no.
As you see, we're sitting on a Hunger Games blanket and I'm sitting on Edward Cullen's face right now, which was my 6th grade fantasy.
Ooh.
I'm living it out in a way I never even thought.
I have a Kirby plush here, and then Ashley has her. Let's give you guys a tour of our animals right now.
Oh, yeah. We love stuffed animals. Oh, wait, let me...
Remy. You guys know Remy.
So
He's on the
I
podcast.
got Remy when I was in Disney World.
We have
my
a
boyfriend,
whole episode about that.
Yeah, my boyfriend Eli bought it for me, and he talks. Oh, wait. So his left paw is French. Let's hit the right paw.
Hello, I'm Remy.
Wait, I love the personality difference between the French and the Americans. Like so excited, and the French.
Are they called paws?
Yeah, a rat paw.
Not a hand. They have like hands.
I mean, he does have
Opposable thumbs.
opposable thumbs.
That's gorgeous.
Oh my god!
Imagine the things he could do to your pussy. Wait.
I don't have to imagine. This plush sleeps with me Someone commented. I made a TikTok with Remy and Grant. Someone commented. If you cut a hole in that. And Grant, I literally was like, no, that's a little too crazy.
No, I've said this because there's a whole battery pack underneath the Remy. If you take that thing out, it's literally a fleshlight.
It is so questionable.
Yeah.
Like Bob Iger and his merchandise team.
What are you doing? On? Well, the other and final update. Actually, I have like 2 more quick ones. But we've gained so many new followers. So hi, you guys.
Hi, Gorgies.
Welcome.
Hi, Gorgianas.
Do the laugh. That was for you guys, you new special fans. Welcome to the... We still don't know a name for our followers.
Gorgianas.
Wait.
Yeah. Hi, Gorgiana.
Gorgiana.
Gorgiana's nickname Gorgies.
Gorginas.
Yeah, any kind of... Because Grant and I have this very serious medical condition where we can't stop saying gorge or gorgeous.
Miss Gorge.
Miss Gorge. Gorgies. Hi, Miss Gorgiana.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
So that's kind of you guys.
Hi, Gorgianas,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Okay, work. I like that. The last thing, and we'll talk about it, but with this new series, this new podcast, we'll be having a Patreon. Ooh, for our Queen Gorgianas.
Yes. And on Patreon, our titties will be out.
Like,
just kidding.
You hear the shit we say without the Patreon. Could you imagine what's going on in the Patreon? We'll talk about it later.
Names will be dropped. Titties will be out. Just kidding.
Cock is flonging. Wait, what?
I don't think I think on Patreon they're strict about nudity.
Fuck, are you serious?
We'll have to launch
an OnlyFans.
Great.
The format of this podcast, basically, for those of you who don't know, we talk a little bit in this beginning. Sorry, right? Go cry about it. And
who's mad? Who's upset?
It's such an interesting question.
We're going to talk in the beginning, catch up, and then we're going to dive the fuck in.
We dive into some sort of topic, some sort of thing that we've experienced, personal anecdotes, whatever the fuck. And then we finish the whole episode out with announcements for the good of the group, which are announcements by you guys that you just need to get off your chest. And we will give you our advice, our thoughts.
Just our thoughts on your thoughts. And be careful, though, because sometimes we'll tell you the very harsh truth.
Yeah.
Be careful.
Because we're good friends.
Yeah.
We're good children. Okay. Anyways, welcome and enjoy the ride.
Beep, beep.
Stick around till the end of the episode because we'll give you guys more details about our Patreon and how you guys can be Miss Gorgianas.
You can join our Miss Gorgiana community.
A twink.
And a redhead.
All right, so what you just heard was a transition. That means we're going to the next stage of our podcast.
We are going to hold your hand all the way through this episode.
Yeah, all the way through this episode. So today, we'll be talking about something that we have been teasing all last season. What is it, Ash?
The time we didn't speak for over a year.
Literally did not, like, we weren't friends for like a year, over a year.
Almost enemies.
It changed everything.
The course of history, herstory,
humanity, honestly. Should we just dive in?
Like,
my,
let's just
this
dive
is
in.
a story time.
But I
basically.
will say, I just want to say, I think every good friendship has had a period where they don't speak.
Yeah, and it definitely gave us,
Yeah.
we'll talk more about what we learned at the end, but it definitely gave us both opportunities to like look inward, I think.
For
and,
sure.
like,
We'll reflect, but
well, I also want to give a little trigger warning because
Yeah.
there is some topics of mental health in here and some things that might be like a little triggering to people, but you guys, we're going to have fun with it. Okay,
well, maybe not fun, but we're
not gonna have fun with it, but you know, we're gonna try our best to keep it as light as possible. But like, there's some serious tones.
Topics as we discuss.
The Jersey accent still comes and goes, you guys. For those who listened last season. Anyways,
Let's dive in.
so it was sophomore year. No,
Junior year.
This was junior year of college. We were at Florida State University in Tallahassee, Florida.
We lived together in a gorgeous carpeted apartment.
It actually was a really gorgeous apartment. I don't know what they were doing in Tallahassee, but every couple years to be a brand new apartment building. Pretty affordable. Very affordable considering what we pay right now.
Pretty affordable, yeah.
But yes, we were living together in an apartment with another roommate.
We'll call her.
That's too
Yeah. Let's call her Emma.
Emma. Okay. Our manager.
Okay,
Hey,
okay.
Emma. Shout out
Let's
Emma.
call her Nancy.
Nancy Drew.
Nancy Drew. Yes. Oh, wait, I kind of love that.
So we were living with Nancy Drew. And then also I had been dating a boy. This is like the longest boyfriend I've ever had at this point. A whole year. I was dating a boy. We're going to call him Frank.
And from my perspective, Grant being with Frank for a whole year, basically marriage for Grant, it felt like.
Honestly.
It was so serious.
Yeah, we had studied abroad together in London, which also another topic we talked about last season. You could go listen, and it was miserable for Grant because of Frank. We just had some issues. And so we're coming off of that, and it's now like October. And something that I had been keeping from my friends, it's also important to know, and this will come back later into the story, but when I was raised where you just like include everyone, like if you have a friend who doesn't know other people and you're part of different groups, like you can just include them, whatever.
Course.
And so I introduced Frank to my friend group, which was Ashley, my freshman roommate, Jake,
Our friend Stefan,
and Nancy
There was
Drew.
like a group of us. We were and then once Frank was brought into the fold, we all became very,
with
very
him.
close. And we also had like separate friendships with Frank then from that kind of point on.
Yeah. And so something that I didn't know how to deal with, and you guys, something for you guys to learn, Frank started to kind of, and when I talk about this, I don't think it's intentional. Like, I don't think he's consciously making these sorts of decisions. I think there's probably some other stuff going on or issues that need to be sorted out. But he was sort of weaponizing his mental health towards me to the point where like we would get into a fight and he would like scream, barge out the door, and then would like tell me later that he had like hurt himself because of it. Which that's the most serious it's gonna get, you guys. But like that was like crazy. And so I was dealing with that for a couple months or a month or two. And eventually I told my therapist and I told my parents, And I learned that that's not normal, and it's like not my responsibility to be like if God forbid something happened, or like if someone's doing that, like that's no one's responsibility but that person. You can offer them resources or help and like show them where to find the help, but like it's them who need to take the steps to. It's just not fair to blame, again, I don't know if it was a conscious decision, but to blame someone for those sorts of things, you know what I mean? And so that was something
It's a very toxic situation.
it was super, super toxic. And basically, I realized that I needed to get out because I have my own issues, I have my own problems. And so someone else is on top of that is just a lot. And the severity of it was a lot. So I came up with a plan with my therapist and my parents. This was so smart because otherwise I don't think I would even ever think of this. But the plan was to go to his apartment to break up with him, because had I brought him to my apartment, knowing Frank would not leave. So I had to go to Frank's so that I could leave after it and like give myself the space. So I go down there. Also, fun fact, Frank lives in our building.
Oh, yeah, he lived 2 floors.
Frank literally lived in our building. So I go down and I basically break up with him. He is so upset, like very, very upset that I have to call Frank's sister to come because I didn't want to leave Frank alone. Frank's sister arrives. I leave. I'm very upset by the whole thing. Like, no one talks about the dumper. There's something to be said about the dumper. Like, because it's sad and it's hard, and I know that he was in a really difficult spot, but like it was not healthy for me and I needed to get out. So Ashley doesn't know about any of this really, right? Like you didn't really know. You would see some of the...
y'all would like fight in front of everyone all the time to the point where it'd be like, we're gonna go. But it was like everyone, I feel like at one point has those friends that are in a relationship and fight in front of them, and that, as if that's not bad enough, then ask for the people's opinion that are surrounding them. So sometimes I'd be like, don't you think he's being crazy right now? And I'd be like, we're gonna go. So I knew that there was not the healthiest situation.
Yeah, something fishy was going on.
Like something before you guys broke up. I mean, I definitely was like, I don't know if they're meant for each other. But that's kind of like the basis.
Yeah. So I break up with him, go back to my apartment.
I was in Disney with my dad at that point.
Oh, really? Do you see how Disney always comes back?
Yeah. Yeah, my dad and I were in Toy Story Land. And I get this text, and it's from Grant, and he's like, hey guys, in our group chat without Frank, I just want to let you know I broke up with Frank, and this is an important detail. He says, of course I still want you guys to be friends with him, but, you know, like, this sucks, but it's meant to be. This is how it has to be.
Okay, but also, I said that meaning it. But also, I think in my head, I'm like, well, of course, like, they were all my friends first. Like, they're gonna side with me at the end of the day. Well, but not on Frank's watch.
But we didn't think that there needed... I guess at that point, I didn't know enough, so I didn't think there needed to be sides, and I'm not usually... Usually, I'm just, like... not a confrontational person, so I'll just be friends with everyone. But so then we go back I come back from Orlando, and it was like pretty chill for a couple days. I wasn't really getting involved at all.
Yeah, but then the first thing that irked me,
what?
I don't know who sparked this, but this was around Halloween, and we were hosting some sort of big Halloween bash. The invites were already sent out, whatever. And someone asked me, I don't know if it was you or Nancy Drew, can Frank still come to the Halloween party?
No, looking back, like, we definitely should have just, like, set that boundary early on. But I just had never had to, like, not be friends with someone because, like... Usually I feel like with, like, friends, I mean, it'll usually be, like, girlfriends, and then they bring their boyfriend around. So I'm like, okay, bye to the boyfriend. But this was a little more complicated.
Because he was literally, like, in our friend group for a year.
So I was like, okay, everyone be mature. He could come to the Halloween party.
And also, meanwhile, you don't know the extent of, like, the trauma I was going through with his, like, mental health and shit. And so I'm like, are you serious?
Also, the night of the Halloween party is when you wore my expensive suede boots and jumped into a pool. And for all owners of Suede, you know that rule number 1, you don't get it wet.
Well, I didn't know that, and maybe you should have given me an owner's manual when you lended me it. Seriously?
I know, right? Okay, but so...
Y'all, I was a drag queen ghost.
Yeah.
But I was a sheet ghost, which looking back,
It
doesn't
does
really
not look great.
Does not look good at all.
Does
but I like cinched the waist like with a chain, like I think
chain belt.
A chain belt.
Yeah.
I did like makeup like on the ghost eye cutout.
And I wore like suede boot heels.
And then I wore suede boot heels.
Yeah.
And I did jump in the recess pool, the club pool.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So then,
Panera.
I guess a few days later, Nancy, Drew, and I get a text to come meet Frank at Panera. So much happened in Panera during college.
And high school.
Literally.
Panera, our whole life.
My whole life has been defined by important conversations in
Panera. Panera.
But we go to Panera, and Frank portrays the breakup as, you know, Grant was very malicious. Grant, like, just telling us all this really crazy stuff and how we were bad friends. And like at that point, if someone like criticized me, I was just like, you're right, you're absolutely right. I guess I just didn't have a good self-esteem or something. So I was like, oh my God, I'm a terrible person. Like, and me and Nancy Drew were kind of similar. So we're like, we're such bad people that we didn't, you know, immediately go and get to the bottom of this breakup as if it's our business even.
Right.
So then we come home. Well, no. We didn't get home right away because I was halfway through a blowout and Nancy Drew goes in first, I believe. And I'm halfway through blowing out my hair, and I didn't know how to blow out my hair.
Oh, it was Nancy Drew first, because you came in the middle of
a blowout. I didn't know how to blow out my hair in college, so every time I did it, I looked like Hermione Granger in the first 2 Harry Potter movies, or literally Hagrid.
Yeah,
like my hair would be
Hagrid.
Huge. So I'm halfway through a blowout, and I start to hear screaming
because Nancy Drew had busted into my room, and is like, why won't you see Frank in person? Because at this point, this a few days later, Frank had been texting me wanting to meet up and talk in person. And like my therapist literally said that this was going to happen. And I, at that point, was not comfortable going to see Frank in person to talk because who knows what he would have done in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, like God forbid. And so I was like, I will talk to you. I'm happy to talk to you, but over the phone. And then I guess that wasn't good enough. And he must have told you guys that or something at Panera, because then Nancy Drew busted in and is like, why won't you see Frank in person?
Yeah, we just made the rookie mistake of getting like, involved in people's relationship, which I will never do again. As you shouldn't. But so then we're both like, oh, you know, like you should talk to him.
I remember one of you guys said you've been dating Frank for like a year. Don't you think you owe it to him to see him in person? And then I guess still like y'all don't know what's going on, but I'm like freaking out, and I started crying and screaming.
You were just so fed up, and from our perspective, I think we just didn't even know the extent of why you broke up. So I'm like, what happened that you can't talk? Which like. Literally, again, I should mind my own fucking business. But then you start screaming and crying, and then we all start kind of screaming, crying. Because I also think there was just underlying tension for a long time before this, just because of all the, like, there was just, like, petty, I don't know. So then we're screaming at each other. My Hagrid hair is prominent. And then we get a knock on our door. This is, like, the craziest thing. We get a knock on her door, and it's a college kind of apartment building, but it's an older-ish girl. And she says, hi, I am a graduate student, and I
think she's like a victim's advocate.
I work in victim's advocate.
In like domestic violence, something.
And I am like a mental health counselor, I think, as well. And she had come to let us know that she thought there was a domestic dispute happening in our apartment, and she wanted to come and lend her expertise. And then we kind of were just like, okay, we're like, fine. It's just a roommate thing.
But the next day, she knocked on the door again and gave me a whole packet, a printed packet of resources and stuff, which was so nice.
So nice. never be a bystander.
Right?
And-
She was not
yeah.
being a bystander.
So from that point on, it was kind of just like very rocky territory. I feel like we kind of made up after that, but like
Yeah,
it was still awkward.
it was just awkward. And then I go to Boston College.
Yeah.
For cheer, because I'm on the cheer team. And so we have an away game, and I travel, and we're at Boston College. I open Snapchat. I go on my stories, and who do I see in my apartment with Ashley, with Nancy Drew, or something, some sort of an event?
No, Nancy Drew was with you. She was on the cheer team as well.
Oh, so true.
It was just me and Frank.
Sorry, Nancy Drew.
And our friend Jake.
So they're in our apartment and they're having a whole pregame. And I'm freaking out because, no offense, but in my mind, Frank's the type of girl who would have gone into my room or something and been like looking through or something. Or like asked to go to the bathroom and then go in my room and then maybe be like snooping around. I don't know. But it just made me uncomfortable that Frank was in my space. And so I, out of anger, start drafting up a message to my friend who we're no longer friends with. We need a code word for her. I'm friends with her, but I don't know if she likes me anymore.
So it's a complex relationship. Let's call her Stacy.
Yeah, so I'm drafting a message to Stacy, and I'm like, this bitch has the balls to invite my ex-boyfriend over our apartment while I'm away at Boston College without telling me. Blah, 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 blah. She's such a bitch. I don't know, coward, whatever. Like,
It was a nasty
I was so
message.
mad. I hit send. It goes to Ashley.
He accidentally swiped up
I was
on my
replying.
story. But you know what the worst part is? Like, I'll admit this.
How did I reply?
I don't know.
I think I was trying to send your story.
That's what you were trying to do
But I
with the
sent it to
caption, but you sent
Ashley.
it to me. But
Yeah.
you want to know what the worst part is?
What?
I literally think I just needed to like post something on my story to get this one guy's attention. Like, I was just trying to get him to like swipe up and be like, come over tonight.
And this is what you get.
But it worked. In that aspect, it worked.
Okay.
So anyway, I was just like trying to thirst trap, and then I get this message. I was also chain smoking Marlboro Reds on a balcony when I received it with said man, I believe. Anyway, so I'm like, what a fucking asshole. Grant just sent my story to me, and then I just opened it and sent it to.
Did you read it to Frank?
Not
Frank
that
know?
night. I don't think I was with him at that point. I think I went to the guy's place.
Oh.
So then I sent it to Nancy Drew because I went to Nancy Drew on the bus and you were like, I just want to let you know what just happened. Like, I sent Ashley's story to her and she was like, okay. And then like we were texting, and then
it was so awk cheering with Nancy Drew during that era.
Yeah. At this point during college, I went through this weird phase where I loved to build forts all over our apartment and like watch TV in them. So I had a fort in my room.
And I get home from the trip and I'm thirsty. I'm hungry. I go and I open the fridge. Ashley's like in her room in a fort or something. And my juicy juice is gone. And I'm like, oh, okay, let me put two and two together. Frank and Ashley drank it, probably used it as mixers during their pregame.
Which is not what happened.
Well, who drank it?
I had our friend Jake and his friends were going out to a Rocky Horror theme party. So they show up to my apartment naked, like titties out, like naked. And then my other friend from Study Abroad came over. It was like a little pregame, ended up happening. And then someone was like, can I drink this juicy juice? And I was drunk. I didn't know whose it was. Maybe it could have been Nancy Drew's. She wouldn't have cared. I was like, sure. I didn't think anything of it.
And
but
I
the
was
juicy juice was gone.
Juicy juice was gone. So I guess this was
Oh my God.
the
But
fuel.
do you remember what you did? Grant dug through the trash. And put the empty juicy juice on the counter and left and went to class. So then when I came out of my room, there was just that empty juicy juice, and I was like, "Oh, that seems like it was like a symbol of your rage." So I was like, "Okay."
Wow.
So then Grant comes home like that night or something. I am in my fort watching Fleabag. Also, I would literally light candles in my fort. Probably the worst thing you could do.
Yeah.
And So I was in there watching TV, and Grant comes and was like,
Knock, knock,
"Can we
knock."
talk?" And I'm like, "Sure, get in here." So he army crawls into my fort, and we just start like screaming at each other.
That was crazy. Would this be called the climax?
This was like the climax of our fight, and you said something that I'll never forget.
Okay, because what you're about to say was explained to me in therapy in like a completely different kind of way or context.
No,
Like,
it's like
it was
when
like-
someone gives you advice or like gives you like a life lesson, but you're only kind of hearing what you want to hear from it, or like
Yeah,
you're just
or,
like
like, I don't-
misinterpreting it.
Or I shouldn't like be repeating it in like like a conversation with someone. Like, I don't know.
But Grant tells me. And
Well,
this
I was, like,
the
trying-
very end of the fight.
My motive was I was trying to explain like why everything seems like it's just fucked up.
Yeah. But Grant says to me, the way I see it, I am at like the center of this wheel, and you and Nancy Drew and our other friends, you guys are spokes on my wheel. And I was like, oh, so you're like the center of the universe.
No.
But that's how I took it, and I got upset because I was like, okay, you're like, I was pissed at this point, and then
But
that
what I
kind of
was
the end
trying
of
to
the fight.
explain is I don't think I was trying to say I was center of the wheel, but if your life's a wheel or whatever and like you have spokes and then one gets broken off or something, then it fucks up the whole wheel.
Yeah,
You got a flat.
that's what happened. We had a flat.
Yeah.
So then,
But I confronted her on the juicy juice. I don't really know. Our wife was just mad. I was like, how could I have known you since 6th grade and you side with my
Yeah.
crazy ex?
but I was just like really not trying to take sides because I still didn't know the extent of the craziness. And then I was kind of getting privy to at this point. And then I kind of was literally just like, I actually want nothing to do with anyone involved here. So
Well,
then I
'cause-
tried to kind of just not be involved at all as best as I could.
But then didn't Frank start giving you and Nancy Drew the kind of similar treatment for like a few weeks?
Yeah, like so then, but I
'Cause-
was really not trying to hang out. Like it's not like we were hanging out like 5 times a week. Like it really wasn't like that either. But like if he was like, let's go get lunch, like we'd go. But then it kind of started to turn into like the way Grant was kind of this like anchor, or like it felt like your entire responsibility to like, I don't know how to say this, but it was
Yeah.
like the pressure then kind of got put on me and Nancy Drew to make sure everything was like okay and going well. So we hung out for a few weeks after that, and then he could just kind of like ghosted us and stopped talking to
Yeah.
us. And then it literally was only like 3 weeks after all this that we were hanging out. And then he kind of just ghosted us and became friends with other people. And then wanted nothing to do with me and Nancy Drew. So then like for us, we were like kind of like, okay, we were trying to like make everyone happy, which then made no one happy. But like we were there for you. And then you kind of ditched us, like kind of rude.
Yeah, and like no offense, but I feel like that just says a lot about this person at this state. in
Yeah,
this
it just
person's
wasn't
life.
great. It wasn't great. And it wasn't conducive to our lives at that point. But we were all living in the same apartment. So like we'd go out to in the kitchen and it would just be like silent. Well, like me and Nancy Drew were friends, but like it was like silent.
This was like my loneliest time or like lowest point in my life, but also really forced me to like look inward and like also like find new friends in a way,
Yeah.
or just even like I feel like friends for me or whatever growing up were like so easy, or I never really put effort into friends because it was just like they were the people who were around me. And this was like the first time I had to like actually put myself out there or like really put an effort into other people's friendships. And then like I realized other people do the same back. Oh my God. I'm not
Wait.
trying to shade you or like that friend group. But like I found people who like in the darkest times, I found like some of the best people. I feel like I really matured or learned a lot about myself. Okay. What did you learn?
During that time.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think I needed to not seek your approval on everything at that point in my life, because I felt like we had a fight the previous year where like I just like smoked weed like any normal 19-year-old, and Grant, that wasn't your lifestyle, and you didn't like it, so you told me I was a drug addict. And like I think I just got really worried about everything, you thought, which like it's important what your friends think, but I was like really concerned all the time that like I was concerned to upset anyone, and that's why I think I wanted to make sure I was friends with everyone still, but then that doesn't work out always. So I think I learned to, you don't need everyone to like you all the time, and you just have to learn to, but I do think I'm like, a people pleaser, so I was like, oh my god, you're upset, like what can I do? But
yeah, no, who cares?
But I think I learned, sometimes, well, I still do care. I think it's important to have empathy, but not to the extent where, you are like giving way more to someone else than they're giving you, and it's just like not like a mutually beneficial relationship. But the crazy thing, well, I don't even know if you want to say
yeah,
this.
I was just about to say, me and Ashley like didn't talk for a year, but the plot twist of it all,
like this is the craziest plot twist of this whole story.
I got back together with Frank,
and then they were just like, fuck Ashley and Nancy.
Yeah, and then okay, so it was like beginning of pandemic, so October I break up with Frank, and then February-ish is when we start rekindling, and then the pandemic happens, so like nothing, I go back to Jersey, nothing kind of really happens, and then I go back to Florida, and I don't know why I'm so gung-ho on like getting him back, and I like convinced myself like I don't know looking back how I could even justify it, but like I somehow convinced myself that it was like maybe I could have done more, or like I was the problem.
No, I remember because it was towards like March 2020, so it was right before we all went home for the pandemic, and we were having a pregame at our apartment, and you came home after getting food with someone. We were like talking at this point. It was very like surface level though. And so you come into my room, and me and Nancy Drew are in there. Like, there's like literally a pregame happening. You go, I just got food with someone, but I can't tell you guys who. And we're like, okay. And then we were like guessing, and then we both
It
like,
had to
like,
have been
like, but we didn't want to guess that first. And we were like, Frank, and you were like, I don't know. We're like, okay, just tell us.
The sad thing is, I probably thought you guys would like me again.
You probably thought we'd be like really happy.
Yeah.
No,
because I didn't know that he started doing the same shit he was doing to me to you guys either.
Yeah.
Like I thought you guys were all kind of still friends.
No, we really were only friends for like
a few
3 weeks. And then like
and
Drew and I were kind of upset because he would like, he would like host things, and he would like be like, not invite us. Like, it's like, we were there
weird.
for you.
Well, I think the psychology of it, I think he was trying to just piss me off.
Yeah.
And then Frank told me when we got to back together that summer, like, because Florida like ended the pandemic in like June, so I was like, oh my god, let me go back to Florida. But no, it was a weird time of like 2020 where it was like COVID cases were down in Florida and blah blah blah. I was safe. I didn't go out. I just kind of stayed in my...
You did not go out, and if people went out, you post them on your story and be like, where's your fucking mask?
Because I was like a leader on the cheer team at that point too, so I was like, I'm watching all of you, and if you guys go out, then I'm telling our head coach.
I feel like that also
crazy.
like kind of like you were kind of like an angry person in this time. It felt like.
Well, I think I was just very lonely, and then that's also why I I think was wanting that attention from like Frank again or something, because like the good times were like good, like, and so during that time period I would only hang out with Frank and my other friend Jeff.
I didn't go back to school.
My other friend Jeff, and then Frank wouldn't let me hang out with Jeff anymore. Frank's crazy.
No, I didn't go back to school senior year because I was supposed to be abroad my senior year, and then that got canceled because of COVID, and I was graduating a semester early anyway, so I just stayed home. And I remember, like, I would, like, see, like, y'all were just, like, in the honeymoon stage. I was like, wow.
Yeah, but
Oh, how
Frank
the tables have turned.
Frank told me, because I asked, I was like, what happened after we broke up or whatever. He was like, yeah, I hung out with like Ashley and Nancy Drew for like a few weeks after, but then I like realized that they weren't good for me either. I was like,
Guys, like,
okay.
I know, like, I, like, just shouldn't get involved, but, like, I was really just
No,
trying my best
that's
to
why-
be a nice girl.
That's
Like,
why it's him. Like,
No,
no
I
offense, it was Frank
know.
just using you guys for whatever sort of reasons.
I know, but it's just crazy how, like, I really had the best intentions.
Yeah,
And
well,
it's so sad.
that's what happens when you have good intentions.
I know. That's
get
what happens when you
fucked.
assume. You make an ass
Out of you and me.
out of you and Frank.
Frank, I hope you're doing well. Genuinely.
No, I genuinely do
No?
too. Well,
Oh.
no, I'm saying, like, no, I genuinely
I
do
wish
too.
I
Like,
wish him well.
No,
Because girl, he needs the wellness.
No, I do, because I actually, like,
No, nice
just-
guy means well.
yeah.
I think. Well, who
Also,
could say?
like, college was a crazy time. I was chain smoking Marlboro Reds on my balcony every
Yeah,
night.
which also when I got back in the summer, because I was the only one in the apartment in the summer, I would do yoga on the balcony. I was like, why are there all these cigarette butts here? I was like, it must be from like the people who lived here before us.
Nancy Drew and I would get home from, because we studied abroad in London
And they
the
thought it was,
spring
like, the
semester.
co-
No. I literally thought I was serving, like, because when I was abroad, I was smoking, like, hand rolled, like, these, like, British men would give them to us. When we got home, I thought I was serving, like
you were like sophisticated.
off-duty Parisian model reading some postmodernism at a cafe. I'm literally chain smoking a Marlboro Red in a Shein crop top in Tallahassee, Florida. Like,
Literally.
girl, you're not doing what
And
you
the
think
balcony,
you're doing.
like the balcony wasn't overlooking anything. No one
but
could
like,
see you.
I literally, but like, I would
was the
only
vibe.
smoke like cigarettes when I was drunk, and I've never vaped. Literally, I've never vaped. But if you put on Marlboro, even to this day, like if
Oh,
I see like
no.
I haven't smoked a cigarette in probably over a year. But like if I'm, that's not true. I smoked one in December when I got drunk.
Oh my
But if I see someone, I'm like, that looks so fucking cool. Like, it's so bad.
That was basically the story of our year-long feud. Obviously, we're here today, so if you
And
want,
you know what? I just want to say,
yeah,
we literally were inseparable. Literally from like, I would say freshman year of high school till like throughout college. And like I said at the beginning, sometimes you just need a little separation. Like sometimes you need that because think about it. It was like we're in a long-term relationship. Like, you know, when people start dating when they're 14
yeah,
and then you're 22 and you're like, wait, maybe I need to fuck some other people. We just need to
Yeah.
fuck some other people.
yeah. No, I totally agree. I definitely agree. And then we could return.
Yeah, and then
get
we
back together
both
with
were
that
like,
knowledge.
we both
of
learned
fucking
so
other
many
people.
life lessons, but that's a story.
Oh, that's if you want to know how we rekindled our friendship, some interesting tales.
Y'all
of
like
us.
Frank returns.
Y'all, Frank returns. We went on some adventures to like rebond. I feel
It was
like
during quarantine, we had to discover each other again.
we had
I
to
was
rediscover each other's bodies.
We discover each other's bodies again. We go to the local parks.
We
We have important
do.
conversations, and I was used multiple more times again in the rekindling.
She was gagged and gooped a couple more
I
times
was-
by Frank during all that. Again,
I was
again.
swindled once more.
And if you want to know how I broke up with Frank for the second time, you guys have to subscribe to our Patreon. Miss Gorgianas.
So
What we're doing, we're having a companion series every episode. It's called Redacted. It's inspired by my many legal scares throughout my life. But Redacted is like it's an extra episode per episode of us telling a redacted section of our story.
And so we'll kind of use redacted to talk about maybe things we don't want everyone to know, but
Just the
we'll have
girls.
our Miss Gorgiana community, and we trust you guys.
Literally.
And we'll be dropping some juice on there.
Some juice.
It's gonna be redacted's gonna be juiced up.
Redacted's gonna be
Juiced up like
crazy.
Lance Armstrong at the Tour de France.
If you're not subscribed to Patreon, you're only getting half the story. That's from Drag Race Untucked.
But also on our Patreon, we will be putting bonus content as well. Videos. We'll have a Discord.
Vlogs. This week's Patreon video bonus content on top of the redacted episode. So, redacted episodes will come out with this week's episode. So every Wednesday, you'll get this episode, and then you're also going to get redacted. On top of that, every other week or so, well, every week you're going to get bonus content, whether that be photos, videos of whatever we're talking about, et cetera, et cetera. But every other week, there's going to be some more thought out stuff. So this week, we will be coming out with our gallery wall tour.
And so our gallery wall is images of throughout our whole lives. So we'll just give you the background of stories. Like, there are some wild parties we've been to. We'll tell you some stories behind them.
Yeah.
Also, our crushes. We'll walk you through some of that.
College.
I also think on our gallery wall tour, we'll tell you the story of this photo at graduation.
High school
because
graduation.
Let's just say the seating arrangement at graduation was really awkward. And we can go into detail about that.
So that'll be out this Friday. So Miss Gorgianas, join the Miss Gorgiana community. Hi, Miss Gorge.
Hi,
right?
Miss Gorgies. We're really excited. We'll be in the chat too. So
we'll have a group chat. But go to the link to the Patreon if you want to learn more about it. And if you want to subscribe, come on down and subscribe. You guys, it's the cost of what? It's less than a Starbucks these days, right?
It's less than a vanilla oat milk latte in New York City.
Right.
I bought a $9 latte the other day.
That's
highway robbery.
And did you tip?
What?
Did you tip?
When they flip the iPad
and
back at me, it's like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? You're looking me dead in the eye and I'm going to say no tip?
And what are you doing on top of the job that you're already hired to do? Respectfully.
No, tipping culture in America is crazy. But you know what? The second they tip that iPad to me, I'm just like, what else am I going to do? Announcements
for the good of the group.
This section of the podcast is inspired by our English teacher in high school, who every Monday and Friday, we would go one by one around the classroom and just say an announcement for the good group.
It would be the whole class.
No, it was crazy.
It was
we're not reading Great Gatsby today.
No.
We're going to go one by one and say what we're doing this weekend.
And talk about Sarah's parents.
But sometimes, it'd be like, okay, I'm going to the movies with Taylor this weekend. And then everyone would be like, okay.
Yeah.
And then sometimes it'd be like, I'm going to my great uncle's funeral.
Yeah. But people get so invested, like, why didn't Taylor, or like they'd come back and they'd be like, we didn't go to the movies. And we'd be like, what the fuck?
What happened? Or like Shelby's mom wouldn't drive us to the movies. Be like, fuck Shelby's mom.
She's such a bitch.
No, we would get such tea on people's personal lives. I'd be like, I didn't know Alex and Izzy hang out on the weekend. Are they fucking?
Yeah. People would come out of the closet. People
would
like.
It was a really emotional period.
But the weird dichotomy of that teacher creating such a safe space, she would also be the first to dress code you. Any girl.
It was only really ever girls, because God forbid you wore a 1-inch tank top strap. So she would also make you shake her hand upon entering her classroom. So she would literally
had such a firm grip.
She would eye you up and be like, you fucking whore, put on this extra large t-shirt while you're in my classroom.
She had a closet, a little
God
thing
forbid,
of cardigans and stuff.
No, Grant, they were extra large t-shirts. I was like, how often is this Hershey Park t-shirt being washed? Because I don't think very often.
Have you had to wear it?
Yes, I had to wear it because also
so embarrassing too.
Yeah, we were juniors. I didn't give a fuck, and off the shoulder shirts were so in. So I was like, no other teacher gives a fuck. So I'd wear my gorgeous off the shoulder shirts with my chokers, and she literally was like, you slut, put on this t-shirt. And so I'd wear it only in her classroom, and then I would take it off. But I was like, Freddie in front of me is so horned up about my shoulder that he can't pay attention to fucking Othello.
Right.
Be so for real.
Right.
But I actually liked her.
No, she was actually so nice.
She was actually a pretty good teacher.
Do you remember we drove to her house? Why did we do that? I'm so sorry if you're listening, teacher, but we were in the area.
Did anyone else have a weird, like, I had to know what my teachers were like outside school.
Also, like, did anyone else, like, when you got your license, like, you just, like,
you just
like,
drove.
you just came up with, like, different scenarios that you had to drive. Like, we had to go to Miss
The cool thing
Miss
to do
so-and-so's
junior
house.
year was to just drive aimlessly. I think we went to Chick-fil-A, and we knew she kind of lived in that
Yeah, in
vicinity.
the area.
So
So
we're
we
like, let's do
Googled
a
her
drive-by.
address.
Let's do a drive. But, like, me and my girlfriends, like, we would do drive-bys, like, boys we liked. We'd be like, let's drive by
But
their
also,
house.
you can't tell me, like, you've never, like, had a teacher or professor or whatever, and you, like, haven't wondered, like, where do they live? Like, what kind of house, what kind of situation, what neighborhood? Like, I don't know. I think about that stuff.
I think about it all the time.
Their
That's why
home- just their
I love to
home.
stalk my professors and teachers on Instagram and stuff and be like,
Yeah, like, they have a personal life.
what are they
This person
up
lives in
to?
a house.
Like, what are they up to right now?
Yeah.
Anyway,
Okay.
so announcements for the good of the group. We like to play a listener's submission where they just tell us an announcement of the good of the group.
And I'm so sorry, but Miss Gorgianas, we will have a Patreon section where you could submit announcements for the good of the group. And y'all will be priority. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm really sorry, but you guys will
But
be
also,
priority.
like, we want them to be juicy. Like,
Yeah.
I want you to tell me that, like, you are sleeping with your mother's boyfriend and you
Yeah.
need it. Like, make them juicy.
And we'll continue to check Instagram DMs. Like, if you have a juicy one and you're not a Miss Gorgiana yet, like, maybe it'll entice
Remember the
us.
one from last season where a man broke into her house and she, like, fought him? She sent an announcement for the
No, she didn't even, like, fight him. She was
She
just,
like,
like,
yelled at him.
oh, she was just so fine about it.
She was so
too.
chill about it.
She
She's
was
like, yeah, so then there was the intruder was in my kitchen and I just told him, like, you have to leave. Like, it was
And
so
then there was
funny.
someone who submitted an announcement about, like, her cousin cheating on someone with
No,
a
so
man or whatever. It was like a whole twisty tale.
Like-
But then she revealed a few weeks later, like, she DM'd us. It was like, hey, I had to, like, confess, like, that was all made up. I was like, you're actually crazy because
Guys,
it was.
don't make stuff up. Like, I want it to be
Seriously.
juicy and real. Like, we'll be real with y'all. Be real with us.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that brings us to our announcement for this week. Okay. This announcement is from Seth.
Seth.
So basically, I was best friends with this guy since 3rd grade. So, like, we were first friends. I just moved. We were best friends, whatever. So flash forward to 8th grade. He found himself this girlfriend. She was fine, whatever. I didn't have any beef with her except for 5th grade. But you know what? We thrive. We learn. We get over it. So I have to talk really fast. So flash forward to 10th grade year. The girlfriend's NSFW Twitter was released. Yeah,
10th
it was released for the
grade?
whole school, which also featured the girlfriend and my best friend, the boyfriend's sex tape. So obviously everyone knew me and him were best friends, and people would come up to me and be like, what the fuck is that? I'm like, I have no idea. Like, don't come to me. So I text him, I'm like, hey, like, are you okay with this? Like, did she force you to do anything? He's like, no, whatever. But even though she was low-key controlling, but we're gonna get into that. So people would come to me and be like, what is that? And I have no idea because I don't want to be attached to it. Hold on, part 2, I'm so sorry.
10th grade.
Holy
But-
shit.
I want nothing to do with that. I said this like 4 times. So I texted him, and then he's like, guys, like, I have to cut you guys off. Like, she's making me cut you guys off. She doesn't like any of my friends. I have to be friends with her friends. Basically, like, sum that all up, that's what he said. So he cut us all off. I'm like, what the fuck, a 7-year friendship? By the way, I forgot to fucking mention, 10th grade year, we would start making out, him and I, while he had his girlfriend, by the way. Whatever, call me homewrecker. Don't give a fuck. We would start making out like crazy, like, whenever chance we got, we'd start drinking and smoking. We just ended up making out. So 10th grade year, he cut us off, whatever. Baby, 4 weeks ago, they broke up. He texted me last weekend, and we made out on Friday night. Yeah, the most recent Friday, 3 days ago, Friday night. And I don't know what to do, you guys. Like, I need advice. Like, do I continue? Because, like, that was, like, my first love, my first guy kiss. Like, I don't know what to do. I just need advice on, like, do I go through with it, or should I, like, look for someone else? Like, I don't know what to do. Help me.
Well, go through.
Well, I think it's funny that this is the announcement because it's kind of on theme for the episode. Toxic relationship.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
But also, like,
it's that.
I'm a little worried about the 10th grade aspect here because it sounds very illegal. So I hope everything's okay when it comes to
Yeah, like, why was
that.
there an NSFW?
That's illegal.
Is this, like, today's, like, youth? You
I
know
don't
what I mean?
know. Like, Grant, that's illegal.
Do y'all know that that's illegal,
Like,
Seth?
Seth, let's make sure that everything is above board. Let's make sure that, you know, everything's good. But if you want to make out with him,
I say yes, but just know, like, you'll learn a lesson soon. Like, a
yeah,
lesson's
I feel
coming.
like
Because
do
also
what you want. Like, who cares? But also, I don't think that this is your forever.
no, oh, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Also, you were like making out with him while he was dating that girl. So he clearly has some issues, or like he hasn't
Yeah.
figured himself maybe fully out if it was like secretive. I've been there. I've had a secret relationship in high school with a man who was like closeted. And yeah, it's just like it'll end up probably being toxic, but I do think it's a life experience that you should live and like you will learn.
It'll definitely be a chapter in your memoir.
Of course.
And sometimes like you just gotta do what you gotta do. But wow, is this what high school is like these days?
Right?
Have you ever like hated, like when you were in high school, did you ever like hate one of your friends' significant others? Because when you're in high school and you hate your friend's like partner, it like really hits different.
Just yours that one year, the one couple months, but I
Which
guess
we'll get into that with that graduation.
yeah,
photo.
we'll talk about that.
No, it hits different. So I can also understand where Seth's, emotion is coming from because he does not like this girlfriend. So you're really pulling a fast one on her.
Yeah, you seem young, so I say do it and have
Seth-
fun. Be smart, be safe.
Seth, be smart, be safe. You sound like a fun guy, and I wish you the best, Seth.
We wish you the best, Seth. All right, Miss Gorgianas. I know this was a heavy first episode.
I know. I was literally just thinking. I was like, not a lot of laughs in this one.
Not a lot of laughs in this one, but we
Not.
promise there will be more in the future, okay? I just feel like we owed it to the fans who listened to our first season to tell this story because we had been teasing it for so long. And maybe it's not as good as we thought. It's good, but it's just not as
Well,
funny
it's
or
kind of just
silly.
like sad and
Yeah, but maybe it will...
mistakes. Some mistakes were made. That's all right. That's okay.
What song is that?
What song is that? And why did I just... Wait. Some mistakes get made. That's all right. That's okay. In the end, it's bad. That's the moral of the story, babe. Ash. Featuring Niall Horan.
Everybody makes mistakes.
Everybody has those days. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. Everybody gets that way. Yeah.
But yeah, hope maybe
Mistakes were made and we learned our lesson.
we overcame, and you can hear all about it in the redacted episode.
Yeah, because y'all, someone pulled a fast one on me.
It was Frank.
Someone pulled a fast one on me, and I need to stop being so naive. God damn
Damn
it.
it.
Fuck!
Don't be naive out there, okay? We'll
Yes.
see you next week, you guys.
Next week we'll,
We'll bring more laughter and joy.
maybe.
Maybe.
Bye!
Bye.